When a small ant touches a drop of honey, it immediately signals the entire colony, and just after a few hours, a whole giant ant colony will rush in, carrying each grain of sugar back to the nest. But if a sudden hand slams down, the sugar scatters, the ants panic. That is exactly the picture of America today. On October 1st, the U.S. government officially shut down. And right after that, former President Donald Trump dropped another political bomb. He called on the military to prepare for war with the enemy from within, meaning the American people themselves. A statement considered illegal, unprecedented. The generals sat and listened but chose silence. And when the military remains silent, the markets are where the screams rise. And if you stay until the end of this video, you will see the full picture, not only of American politics, but also of how global money flows are quietly leaving the old ant colonies to pour into new sugar storages. Don't miss it, because only at the end will I tell you which ant colony will truly survive. This is the game of power inside America. Trump is not only campaigning, he is testing reactions, testing the military, testing the people, testing the financial world. Because history has proven when politics is chaotic, the one who controls media and the one who knows how to plant fear will be the one who wins. Trump wants to turn political conflict into a life and death battle. Whoever follows him is an ant inside the colony. Whoever opposes him is an enemy inside the colony. This is the way many empires collapsed from within, when the ants, instead of carrying sugar together, began biting each other. This event joins with the government shutdown due to budget deadlock. It shows the world the image of an America tearing itself apart, paralyzing itself, and that is precisely the seed of recession. How will this power game impact the economy, making the American financial ant colony tremble? Let us imagine the U.S. economy as a giant ant colony. Inside it, the stock market is the worker ants running fast, finding sugar everywhere. Real estate is the cocoon storing larvae, hard, long-term assets. The U.S. dollar is the pheromone, the scent that allows ants to recognize one another. Gold and silver are the sugar grains stored inside the nest, used when depletion comes. When Trump and the politicians shake the entire nest, each part reacts. U.S. stocks. In the short term, investors dump in fear. In the midterm, corporate earnings fall, PE contracts. In the long term, if instability drags on, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ may step into a true bear market. U.S. real estate. With high rates, massive debt, real estate is already weak. If recession strikes, commercial offices and housing will collapse like termite tunnels inside an ant colony, breaking down en masse. Bonds. Smart ants will run to hold short-term debt papers to shelter. But when confidence shakes, long-term yields rise. The yield curve deforms, signaling recession unavoidable. USD. The colony's scent begins fading. In the short term, USD remains strong because the world is used to hiding there. But if politics roils, the pheromone USD fades. Ants will lose the trail and run to JPY, CHF, gold. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, the secret sugar storages and the grains that never lost position. In the financial world, gold and silver are the sugar grains hidden in the colony's vault. When storms come, when crowds flee, only this storage keeps the colony alive. Gold. For 5,000 years, humankind has always seen gold as true money. When everything collapses, only gold retains value. Gold is the sugar vault that ants rush to when the colony is smashed. Gold belongs to no nation. No one can print more. No one can seize it when you hold it physically. Every time America is unstable, gold jumps up like sugar grains glittering in the dark. Silver. Silver too, but silver has more sensitivity. When the economy fluctuates, silver easily rises faster because it has both storage demand and industrial demand. If gold is the sugar vault in the dark, silver is the sugar right at the nest's entrance. Everyone can see and rush to. Silver is both reserve sugar and industrial ingredient. It rises faster than gold when markets lose control. Bitcoin. The digital ant colony. Bitcoin is like a new ant colony forming in the wild. Still young, easy to be blown by the wind, but it attracts pioneer ants who want to escape the old pheromone of the USD. Bitcoin is not without risk, but each time instability comes, BTC proves its pull. It is like a new colony in the forest, small at first, but growing. Young ants like this new sugar scent, and each time the USD weakens, they leave the old pheromone to run to BTC. We are living in a transition. Half the ants still cling to the USD scent, the other half are tasting digital sugar. Emerging markets, the half-hearted ant colonies. Many people ask, if America is unstable, will money flow to emerging markets? Maybe, because emerging markets are like other ant colonies nearby, with cheaper sugar, more attractive. EMS are attractive because they are still cheap, but EMs are fragile because they easily print money. If EMs manage well, they can become backup colonies. But the problem is, if these colonies also pour too much sugar water, that is, print money, create inflation, then sugar will quickly mold. And when sugar molds, ants will lose interest. When that happens, capital will not stay in EM, but run straight back to gold, silver, BTC. China, the new ant colony wanting to seize sugar, the artificial sugar vault. While the American colony is chaotic, China is piling sugar. They buy gold at record pace, expand trade influence, and dream of a future where the global ants no longer depend on the USD pheromone. China hoards gold like ants carrying sugar home, but their vault still has holes. Corporate debt, real estate collapse, aging population. They have much sugar, but the sugar is not pure. The issue is whether the global ants will accept China's pheromone to replace USD or not. This remains an open question. Yet clearly, world order is shifting, and America is no longer the only colony owning the biggest sugar vault. Safe havens, JPY-CHF, the small but enduring colonies. When storms rage, the small colonies on cliffsides survive. That is Japanese yen and Swiss franc. Not much sugar, but safe. When the big colony collapses, these small ones become shelters. History's lesson, when ants divide, empires fall. Looking back at history, the image of the ants is no longer metaphor, but reality. The Roman Empire once had a glorious age. Their sugar vault was gold, silver, the trade routes across Europe. But when internal divisions came, Roman soldiers turned weapons against each other, some for the emperor, some for the generals. The sugar vault destroyed, empire collapsed. America today is similar. Instead of carrying sugar together, political power groups are biting one another, shaking the colony. Global stock markets, the domino effect U.S. stocks are not just American ants, but the global colony. When S&P 500 shakes, European, Japanese, emerging markets like Vietnam, India, all plunge. This domino effect shows, once the USD pheromone weakens, the global ants will lose discipline, scattering. And when global stocks fall, money flows will flee to the most resilient sugar grains, gold, silver, Bitcoin. Looking back at U.S. real estate and the 2008 lesson, in 2008, America witnessed a tunnel collapse in the real estate colony. When debt swelled, housing collapsed. The entire banking system was like ants losing their trail home. The Fed had to print money to rescue. But this year, the scenario is more complex. Besides debt and rates, America also has political instability. If U.S. real estate falls once again, it will not only be economic crisis, but also a crisis of confidence. So, which ant colony will survive? Friends, imagine. U.S. stock market, like worker ants scattering, not knowing where to find sugar. U.S. real estate, like cocoons collapsing from mold. USD, pheromone fading. Gold, silver, secret sugar vault, shining brighter. BTC, new colony, risky but full of potential. JPY, CHF, two small colonies, little sugar but safe. Not easy to crush. How will the global monetary whirlpool unfold? Which scenarios are likely? America in chaos, USD weak, gold, silver, BTC rise, capital flows into EM, JPY, CHF. But if EMS also print money, inflation, capital runs back to gold and BTC. If crisis spreads globally, paradox, capital runs back to USD because though the pheromone weakens, it is still the most familiar scent. This is exactly the whirlpool of the global financial ants. No scent lasts forever, only the safe sugar vaults endure. So, in this power whirlpool, when America both shuts down government and reels in politics, global capital will be like ants fleeing. They will leave the rotten branches, U.S. stocks, real estate, rush to safe sugar vaults, gold, silver, BTC, and find smaller, safer colonies, JPY, Swiss franc, even some EM if they don't print money to inflate. Ants never stop. They only change direction. When the old colony shakes, they find a new trail. And in today's great global financial shift, the question is not whether America collapses, but will you be the panicked ant or the ant that finds sugar and rebuilds the nest? The global financial ants are at a crossroads. America, the once center colony, is trembling. China wants to replace. Gold, silver, Bitcoin are becoming the brightest sugar grains. In this picture, the question for every investor is, will you follow the old pheromone, test the new scent, or become the ant that finds its own sugar and rebuilds its colony? Hit subscribe to ascend your mind, because every video here not only opens up wealth paths for you, but also gives your family and your loved ones the keys to true financial freedom.